Hello and welcome to my top 10 favorite Warriors books. These are books in the Warriors series. This can include main series books or super editions. However, I won't be including novellas, but just because they're shorter books, I won't be including them. I also will not be including manga. So let's get right into this list. Coming at number 10 is Night Whispers, the third book in the Omen of the Stars series. I'm also a big audiobook listener, and Night Whispers, of course, has an audiobook version. And as someone whose favorite character is Ivy Pool, this book is great for character development. It also introduces an interesting one-time perspective of Flametail, because, spoiler alert, and I should have put a spoiler at the beginning of the video, but spoiler alert, he dies in this book, and later actually becomes relevant again to the plot. But I really love Night Whispers just because of how interesting it is to see Ivy Pool figuring out the Dark Force is bad, how interesting it is to see two sides of the same battle, and how both are recovering, and how Shadow Clan sees Thunder Clan, and how it's really not that different. Definitely the weakest point of the book is the either the relationship between Dovewing or Dovepaw at this point and Tigerheart, or maybe the drama between Lion Blaze and Cinderheart. Lion Blaze facing the fox is also a great scene where he puts his powers to the test. Overall, it's just a very fun read for me, very dramatic book, as dramatic as Warriors can get. Coming in at number 9 is going to be Forest of Secrets, which is the third book of the first original Warriors series, which I believe is now dubbed The Prophecies Begin. There's a huge amount of massive plot twists in this. There's Silverstream having kits and then unfortunately dying. There's Greystripe going off to join River Clan. There's Tigerclaw finally making his move to betray Blue Star and the clan. Finding out about Blue Star's kits, of course, in the prologue of the book, as well as just figuring it out for yourselves. For me, when I was reading this, I was in 5th grade. When I was reading this for the first time, I was blown away reading this book. Blown away reading the whole series, really. But I was blown away reading this book and just seeing everything that happened. It was just fascinating. I've always loved Forest of Secrets. I'm also, as well as I said, a big audiobook listener, and of course this one, the main series, recently got audio versions. The voice actor, McLeod Andrews, the reader, he does a great job of portraying Tigerclaw, but also like a broken Blue Star and an angry Fireheart. Everything he does is just amazing, and it really warps you into the book. So I definitely recommend listening to those. Number 8 is going to be Tall Star's Revenge, the Super Edition. Tall Star's Revenge shows us a character who we originally believed to be a stoic, peaceful guy in the series. Naming one Whisker as his deputy, as his final dying wish, in order to try to prevent fighting within the clans. We see him as this sort of charismatic, empathic guy. In this book, we find out that his past is filled with him going on a quest for revenge and what he believes to be his father's murder. He pairs up with Jake, which is, of course, Firestar's father, before Firestar is born. Goes to find these cats. We get a great look into Wind Clan. This is the first book that really delves into Wind Clan. We've had Yellowfang's Secret, which for all its flaws did give us some insight into Shadow Clan and the rise of Broken Star. We've seen stuff like Tigerclaw's Fury, which showed how he became the leader. We've seen stuff from River Clan with Cricket Star's Promise. Tall Star's Revenge is really the first window we have into Wind Clan in general. And we see all this stuff about them having the tunnels and the visitors that come around, and it's just fascinating to me to learn about this clan's history and then seeing how it ends and sort of tying us into Crooked Star's Promise and Blue Star's Prophecy and Yellowfang's Secret. And it's just a great read. It's just overall just a great book to read. Number 7 is going to be The Last Hope, the 6th and final book of the Omen of the Stars series. The Last Hope, for all the flaws with the final battle, for the underusage that the 3 really had in this battle, besides Lion Blaze killing like one guy, Threadtail, and then Dovewing being able to tell everyone, hey, they're coming. That's it. What fascinated me a lot in this book was Ivy Pool during the fight. It shouldn't come as a surprise. I love Ivy Pool's character. Also, Jay Feather. Maybe not so much, going to get Firestar, or going into the Dark Forest was pretty confusing. But seeing Jay Feather trying to find Flametail, that's the part going through Stark Clan, not necessarily trying to unite Stark Clan, but trying to find Flametail, trying to fight against it and prove his innocence. He talks to Brambleberry, which is great, a character from Quick Star's Promise we know, and I think we love because he's a great character in that book. And overall, this book is just interesting. It sort of cops out with the, well, Firestar is the fourth cat, but I think it's an okay conclusion, I think. Coming in at number 6 is Sunrise, the sixth and final book of the Power of Three series. Now, I'm a sucker for finales. I really am. Sunrise, however, is one of those finales that doesn't really end anything. It transitions directly into Omen of the Stars. There's really nothing different about it at all. Nothing. Except adding in a couple characters, but you still got Land Blaze and J Feather that are still doing the same goals. But Sunrise is great because it should have been a conclusion, and instead they turn it into this interesting thing with even more plot twists than Long Shadows had, finding out that Hollyleaf killed Ashfur, Honeyfern's death coming out of absolutely nowhere, just a bunch of craziness. There's Soul coming back and then escaping. That's how Purdy joins the clan. Everything is just absolutely crazy in this book. And then, of course, ending with Hollyleaf telling everyone at the gathering the truth, and then heading off into the tunnels, assumed dead for a little while. Coming at number 5 is going to be Sunset, the sixth and final book. I'm going to be saying that a few more times. The sixth and final book of the New Prophecy series. So as a whole, the series isn't exactly that most compelling thing. However, Sunset I find to be incredibly compelling. You immediately pick up where we left off in Twilight, trying to recover from the Badger attack. You got Stormfur and Brook coming back, and the drama that starts in RiverClan with Hawkfrost. And then, of course, you have the whole dynamic between Brambleclaw and Hawkfrost. Their training session with Tigerclaw. Brambleclaw's dynamic with Squirrelflight, and of course Squirrelflight's dynamic with Ashfur. This book definitely, to me, makes up for the rest of the series being generally not compelling. It's interesting for sure, but not exactly the most compelling story. But this book is definitely compelling, I would say. It's great to see Brambleclaw make a choice. A lot of people say Brambleclaw is dry. He's a Firestar 2.0. He doesn't have character. But I think in Sunrise, I think he definitely has character. He has to make some big choices. And I'm not just talking about saving Firestar. That's the obvious choice. I mean, he's making choices to meet with Hawkfrost. He's making choices to go down this path. He's also making choices to lie to Squirrelflight about it because he knows how it will work. He makes the choice to bring Stormfur and Brook back to ThunderClan with him, even though he had just seen Hawkfrost get them banished. Overall, I just find this book to be extremely more compelling and making up for the less compelling aspects of the New Prophecy. Coming in at number 4 is going to be Long Shadows from it's the 5th book from the Power of Three series. Overall, the Power of Three series is kind of but Long Shadows really amps it up a notch. It's hard to talk about this book without first talking about the fire scene. Ashfur and Squirrelflight, that's the scene everyone knows this book for. They Are Not My Kits, all that. Ashfur's murder, of course, at the end of the book, but we don't want to forget that this book is not just that scene. Although that scene really makes this book amazing already, we really gotta try not to forget that there are other great things about this book, such as the whole sickness subplot, Lion Blaze initially not wanting to go over to WindClan, but then eventually doing it after he sees Firestar lose a life, and not wanting any cats to die. His confrontation with Heathertail there, and his whole vision he has to himself of him ripping out Heathertail's throat, which makes him then kind of fear himself a little bit. And then J Feather earning his name in the kind of weird way he does that. And then, of course, leading into the whole Ashfur thing. This book just has one of the biggest plot twists in Warriors, as well as a great cliffhanger that leads into a really great sort of mystery thriller, more of a mystery in general book in Sunrise. So that's Long Shadows. Coming in at number 3 is The Forgotten Warrior, book 5 of Omen of the Stars. Forgotten Warrior is probably easily the most interesting book in Omen of the Stars to me. just because it has the return of Hollyleaf and how that shifts things up. You got, again, Brambleclaw making a choice in this book to lie to protect his sort of adopted daughter, and lie and say that Ashfur's death was a mistake, and that's why Hollyleaf disappeared, and he had never told anyone about it. If you start thinking about it too long, well, really, this is more of the thing where if the characters start thinking about it too long, they're gonna realize some shit. And I think deep down Firestar knows the truth and knows why Brambleclaw's doing this. But, of course, it also has the return of Soul, because they did both kind of disappear around the same time, and it has Hollyleaf teaching them to fight in caves. Hollyleaf's story is easily one of my favorite ebooks, so seeing what she learned there with Fallen Leaves, seeing the cave action, the cave fights in general, and, you know, I love Ivypool. This has Ivypool murdering the spirit of a cat and making that choice for her clan, and it's just, I mean, it's just so amazing. It's just such a compelling character moment for her to do, and for her to do that, to become a Dark Forest warrior officially, and also be able to train the living cats, and just, holy fuck, dude. Ivypool's character is great. This is one of the reasons why. Number 2 is gonna be the Darkest Hour. I told you I'm a sucker for for plot twists, for endings and finales. The Darkest Hour is the 6th and final book of the first series, the Prophecies Begin series. The Darkest Hour, I mean, what can I say about this book? The audio version is great, the book is great, everything about this book, to me, is amazing. It has my literal favorite scene in all of Warriors, which is Stonefur's death and the whole sort of prisoner court trial thing that Tiger Star has going in the Tiger Clan camp. It has Firestar trying to become a leader. You wonder what Darkstripe's going to do. You have Blood Clan, the sort of, you know, Tiger Star is really the red herring in this book. Blood Clan is the real enemy. And it's just, I mean, I just love this book. I don't have much to say about it other than I love it, but I really love it. And coming at number 1 is going to be Crooked Star's Promise. Now, this book I have a lot to say about. Crooked Star's Promise is the 4th super edition to come out, and it really throws a lot of light onto a character that we know nothing about. Other than seeing him appear as just a general, you know, generic leader guy exists. And in Blue Star's Prophecy, we saw her interactions with Crooked Paw at a gathering, Crooked Jaw at a gathering, and then of course her fight with when he's Crooked Paw, when she and Blue Paw and Snow Paw fight him. Overall, though, we get to see he's working with Mapleshade in this book, you know, one of the OG Dark Forest vengeful baddies. So without knowing it, he's working with the Dark Forest, and we see that sort of dynamic. She's doing to him what Tiger Star was doing to Brambleclaw and to Lion Blaze, and just kind of training him and how to be more vicious and make up for the fact that his jaw was taken apart. And we find out later that she's doing this mainly because, or not taken apart, but like broken. We find out later that she's doing this because of bloodline revenge, and so many dramatic and terribly upsetting moments you don't expect, other than Mapleshade, obviously, because she's the antagonist. She's the main overall antagonist. The real antagonist of this book can really be seen as Rainflower, because she is sort of like his drive, almost, to not be as terrible as she says, and to prove her wrong. The fact that his jaw is broken doesn't make a difference, and trying to get past her lack of acceptance for him and his injury. In many ways, you really want to hate Rainflower. She's a despicable character, and it seems like she's gonna be the antagonist of the book. But what I love about this is, except for maybe at the end, you know, in that little manga extra where he confronts Mapleshade and says, no, you know, all my family are dead, all my friends are dead, but it's okay, I'll go join them in StarClan. There's not a final confrontation. There's not a final fight. This isn't a, you know, the other books on this list, like Night Whispers, final thing, there's Flametail's death, and then Ivy Paul having to make a choice whether or not to kill Flametail's spirit. Forest of Secrets, you had the big battle with Tiger Claw at the end. Tall Star's Revenge, you got him versus the cat who he thinks killed his father. The Last Hope, the final battle. Sunrise, you have Hollyleaf going into the tunnel. You know, all these things, all the books I've listed have some sort of final battle confrontation kind of thing. Crooked Star's promise really, really doesn't. And I think that's why I like it, because you have characters dying constantly. And I guess if you really wanted to, you could make a case for Crooked Star and Oakheart fighting to be the final battle, but I wouldn't. But it really is a fascinating book to delve into this character that we pretty much know nothing about, except that he broke his jaw and he becomes River Clan leader. That's it. And just seeing how he works with Mapleshade, seeing, he really is truly a good cat. When he sees Thistleclaw learning, or, trying to teach him the killing moves, he said, no, we're not supposed to kill, He's not tempted for a second once he finds out it's the Dark Forest. So we see here, Crooked Star is a truly good cat. And I love that. I love this book. It's just an amazing book. That's all for this video. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed. If you did, go ahead and leave a like, and subscribe to my channel to see more videos like this, as well as other types of gaming videos. Bye.